I'm Amanda, and I'm a quantum healer and past life regressionist, and I empower people to manifest their dreams. In this video, we're going to talk about twin flames, one of my personal favorite topics. We're going to cover what twin flames are, how they're different from soulmates, and why they come into our lives. I also have stories about how I've met 3 of my own twin flames, but there's so much to talk about there that I'm actually going to create a whole separate video about it. So if you are interested in hearing my story, definitely subscribe so that you can see when that next video comes out. Quick disclaimer that not everyone has the same ideas or beliefs around twin flames. And if you've seen my video about how quantum healing and parallel universes work, you'll know that it is completely possible for different belief systems to simultaneously exist and to all be completely valid and true to the person that holds those beliefs. What I'll describe in this video is my own understanding of the twin flame topic, based on all of my life experience, as well as my professional experience working with clients going through their own twin flame journeys. Okay, so let's start with some definitions. What is a twin flame and how are they different from soulmates? I define a soulmate as being a separate soul from your own that you have a very deep soul bond with. So your 2 souls have created a soul contract on the spirit side to be in each other's lives for the long term. And the terms of the contract are usually around supporting each other, teaching each other, being loving companions to each other, that kind of thing. Soulmates are usually souls that you share many different lifetimes with, which is why there's usually a deep sense of familiarity, shared senses of humor, shared views and values, even though you were raised under completely different circumstances. I'm saying usually a lot because soul contracts and these types of soulmate relationships can look super different for different people. So what I'm saying is what I've seen most often, but it definitely doesn't cover every possible scenario of what a soulmate can be. Personally speaking, my husband is definitely a soulmate of mine, and we've lived well over 100 lifetimes together. And I could feel the moment that I met him. So there wasn't really any tension or resistance in us being together. It just happened really easily, as if it was just meant to be. That doesn't mean that we weren't faced with any challenges. We actually had to overcome quite a few big hurdles pretty early on in our relationship, but they were hurdles that felt like they were easy to overcome being together. Also, if we're going by my definition of a soulmate can be more than just a romantic partner. Soulmates can also come in the form of deep friendships, pets, lifelong mentors, that kind of thing. So basically any soul that you have a long-term contract with and a deep emotional bond with is someone that we can call a soulmate. While twin flames actually feel very similar to soulmates, they are totally different. A twin flame is created when you are one soul that actually decides to split into 2. So occasionally you might even split into more than 2, but let's just say 2 for now. And there are many reasons that this could happen. For example, a soul might be on a mission and they might want to accomplish a lot more efficiently by spreading themselves around more. For example, have you ever wished that you could split yourself into 2 people so that you could get more work done? I feel like we've all wished that at one point. Well, souls actually can do that, and that's why we get twin flames sometimes. And this doesn't happen all the time. Definitely not every soul decides to do this, but it does happen. And the resulting souls are still completely whole on their own. So don't feel like you have to be 2 halves of a whole, but it will feel like there's an even deeper sense of wholeness when they meet each other again, either on the spirit side or on the physical realm, such like being humans on Earth together. So twin flames will take on slightly different variations of their mission, and they will embody different aspects of the original soul, but they will also have a ton of traits that they share. So for this reason, twin flames actually amplify a lot of each other's best and worst traits, and they create this sort of polarizing effect on each other. Twin flame relationships are never easy. In fact, they are almost always marked by challenge, either situationally or emotionally, or both. Situationally, meaning you're in a situation together that creates a ton of tension and chaos in your life, and it makes it feel like it's an uphill battle for you to be in each other's lives. Emotionally, meaning you just drive each other nuts. And that doesn't mean life will always be explosive if you happen to meet a twin flame, There are ways to avoid the chaos, namely by staying away from each other and not being super close to each other in your lives. But chances are, if you've met a twin flame, you will feel the desire to get close to them as being almost irresistible. And trust me, I've been there, I get it. Especially if you don't know that they're your twin flame at first, so you don't even realize what's happening. It will feel like it just happened to you. Think of a twin flame as being like a really fiery flame, like a literal flame. You might be really drawn to the warmth at first, but the closer you get, the more likely you'll burn. And the way that you burn is different in each twin flame pair as well. So sometimes the burning will be more of like an emotional singe, but sometimes it'll be more like you're getting situationally burnt. So it really, again, depends on your unique situation. It's also worth mentioning that there is usually a runner and a chaser in each twin flame pair. Usually one soul is a bit further along in their development than the other, and this could either be spiritual or emotional development. And actually there are many ways to look at who's the runner and who's the chaser. So I'm not going to get into this topic too much because I don't actually think it's all that important, because whether you're running or chasing, there's always something for one to learn from the other. As with soulmates, twin flames are not just limited to romantic connections. Again, they could be friends, they could be your child, they could be business partners, they could be childhood sweethearts. There's really no limit to where you may find a twin flame in your life. All right, so how do you know whether someone is a twin flame or soulmate or neither? Well, someone will be a twin flame or a soulmate to you if you feel a deep soul resonance and alignment with them. Like you have the same values, the same outlook on life. Somehow you've come to the same core beliefs, even though you come from completely different backgrounds. Usually you'll have an intuitive sense of knowing about the depth of your connection with this person. But how do you know which one they are? Are they a twin flame or are they a soulmate? At first, it's going to be extremely hard to tell. Both types of relationships will feel extremely attractive, like you're just inexplicably drawn to this person for no reason at all. But the biggest difference is that a soulmate relationship will feel mostly effortless, while a twin flame relationship will be marked by challenge. And that isn't to say that you won't face challenges with your soulmates too. I mean, I definitely did, especially when my husband got into a life-changing bike accident 5 months into our dating. So, challenges are normal to a degree, but with twin flames, it's going to feel like those challenges are so intense and so polarizing that they make it almost impossible for you to peacefully be in each other's lives. If you're still not sure what someone is to you, you can check by closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, and relaxing until you reach a completely clear and neutral state where you're not influenced by any part of your own personal emotions. You have to be super relaxed in your mind to get here, which is why focusing on your breath helps a lot. And then you can ask yourself, is this person a twin flame or a soulmate or neither? And your higher self, aka that voice of intuition, will give you a pretty immediate answer. And by the way, this is a super important exercise that you can use pretty much anytime you're asking yourself a big life question, because you are speaking here to your intuition or the voice of your higher self. They are that gut feeling that has been guiding you your entire life and helping you make all of your big life decisions and helping you, protecting you in times where you need to be a little bit more careful and that kind of thing. So it is incredibly important for you to learn to trust their voice and trust yourself, because they are the ones guiding you through your entire life journey here on Earth. Okay, so the big question, why? Why do we have twin flames in our lives, especially when twin flame relationships are always so challenging and chaotic? It's important to remember that there's a purpose and a lesson in every situation in life. Usually the purpose with soulmates is for them to be in your life long term in a warm and fuzzy, positive, supporting way. But with twin flames, the soul contract you have with them is almost always short term, and it's about learning tough lessons that lead to immense growth. You're meant to mirror things in each other that bring out really hard truths that you have to confront. They might embody things that you don't like in them that you realize you also don't like about yourself. Things that you wouldn't realize need to be shifted without them holding up that mirror to you. In those cases, it's extremely important to be kind, love, and forgiving to both yourself and to them, but to also acknowledge the parts of yourself that need to shift which will always result in you aligning to a higher vibration version of yourself. And that's ultimately an amazing outcome, right? That's the whole point of a twin flame relationship, to push you into being a better version of yourself and to teach you how to love yourself more deeply. Especially with romantic twin flame relationships, I often see that the biggest lesson that you can learn from them is how to choose yourself and walk away from a situation that can't serve you in the long term. It's a lesson in radical self-love. Walking away from a twin flame is probably going to feel like one of the hardest things you've ever done, but most of the time it's exactly what you need to do in order to love yourself and to prioritize your own needs. Remember, self-love and putting yourself first does not need to be an act of selfishness in the negative sense. It's actually incredibly important, because if you don't give yourself love, then you won't be able to sustain the fuel that you need to truly give it to others either. But listen, if you know that deep down that what I'm saying here is actually for you, you know what you need to do. Remember, what you probably really want long-term is a soulmate, not a twin flame. The longer you hold on to a romantic twin flame, the longer they'll take up space in your life and keep you from being able to find that soulmate. Having said all of that, there are literally infinite scenarios of how a twin flame relationship can play out. I've seen plenty of people persist with their romantic twin flame relationships, and they've continued to make it work. In fact, I've seen my own past lifetimes where I've been long-term romantic partners with my twin flames, but it wasn't easy. Just know that with a twin flame, it's never going to be easy to do that, and it's really not meant to be easy. It's meant to teach you something, and you'll keep getting that lesson until you really learn it, like everything else in life. Remember, you always have a choice, and your choices will determine what other possibilities are open for you. Here's my advice. Choose yourself first. Always come back to self-love. That's it for this video. I hope that you found this information useful and resonant, and if you did, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.